All right. All right. The book of Judges. This is a fun one. This Judges gets intense. We got a lot of cool stories in Judges. Maybe this will be a little more entertaining than the old listing off a bunch of cities for 10 minutes, 2 hours actually. Tabernacle schematics. Judges gets pretty cool. I'm starting late, so I'm just going to get right into it without waiting for anybody to roll in. And I don't know how long we're going to go for. Probably not too long. Probably just for like an hour, hour and a half. So let's get right into it. The book of Judges. The book of Judges, this is when the judges rise up. These are pre-king, high-level authorities in Israel. They fight for Israel, strong men, powerful men, and women. Isn't Ruth a judge? I think Ruth is also a judge. She's a woman judge. What the? Just one. These are authorities in Israel before they had a king. You know how God commanded them to appoint judges, appoint officers, one for every 10, one for every 100, one for every 1,000. Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd. So this should be, the first chapter is the conquest of the tribes. But then we're going to, today we're probably going to hear about Gideon, Ehud. It's going to be a couple chapters before we start getting into the crazy stories. Sisera, Deborah and Barak, Midian. No, Midian oppresses Israel. Gideon saves, comes in and steps up. Well, let's get into this. Chapter 1. Now, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, "Who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first, to fight against them?" And the Lord said, "Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand." And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, "Come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites." How is Judah still alive? Because Judah was one of the originals, and they all died in the wilderness before they ever got to the promised land. Let me look this up real quick. Maybe there's a second Judah. How is Judah still alive in Judges? See, it says it's talking about the tribe of Judah. Oh, this is a different Judah. There's a symbol over the U that wasn't there before. Who is Judah in the book of Judges? The fourth son. Okay. No, wait. The book of Judges, Judah refers to the fourth son of Jacob and Leah. He also represents the tribe of Judah. Judah is a key figure. Yeah, but the Judah's the fourth son of Jacob. Huh. Leah, the tribe of Judah. Do you guys understand the confusion I'm having right now? If Judah's the fourth son of Jacob, brother of Joseph, he should not have made it through the wilderness. Because all of the original people who left Egypt had to die in the wilderness, except for Joshua and Caleb. Maybe of the original brothers of Jacob or Joseph, sons of Jacob, maybe like the not kings, but like the high priests, maybe they're still alive. Or maybe it's hyperbolic language, like what we see in other verses. Let me see. How is Judah still alive in Judges? If I'm saying, how is Judah still alive in Judges if all the original Israelites from Egypt died in the wilderness? Unless this takes place, the tribe of Judah and the kingdom of Judah survived the death of most Israelites in the wilderness because they were not part of the original Exodus group from Egypt. Why? Says who? AI. Oh, they weren't. Now, where are we getting this from? While most of the Israelites who left Egypt perished in the wilderness, the Exodus group, the tribe of Judah, with its lineage tracing back to Judah, one of Jacob's 12 sons, was not part of the original Exodus group. They had already settled in Canaan after the death of Joseph. Really? Now, where are we getting this from? Maybe it is something we are told later. The story of Judah in the Bible, including the story of him and Tamar, suggests a period after Israelite settlement in Canaan, not necessarily during the wilderness wanderings. What part of the Bible is this? Emerton notes that it is widely agreed that the story of Judah and Tamar reflects a period after the settlement. What book is the story? That could be in First Kings or Second Kings or something. Judah and Tamar. Story of Judah and Tamar appears in the ancestor narratives of Genesis. We already read Genesis. Why don't I remember this? A second reason why Genesis 38 is included in the Joseph story is that the sad story of Judah and Tamar magnifies Joseph's faith and faithfulness. Joseph's faith in God and his outstanding moral character are highlighted when contrasted with the character of Judah. The structural motif is used throughout Genesis. Genesis 38. I highlighted all this. Genesis 38. This is the story of Joseph going into the pit. Oh, 38. And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned. Oh, this was the chapter that I was like, what is this, a sidebar? Remember, I'm sure you guys, nobody's here who was there when I was going through Genesis. When I was reading through Genesis, it's telling the story of Joseph, and then there's a random chapter where it talks about Judah and Tamar, and it seems totally out of place. And I even said when I was reading it, I was like, what is, and it's Tamar deceives Judah. And I was like, what is this story? Tamar was the girl who um who prostituted herself, and Judah, what did she do? Here, it's right here. Onan knew that the seed be not his, and it came to pass when he went unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that she should. This is where we get the term, it's better to spill your seed on the floor than in a whore. Because Tamar sold herself. She acted the whore, and and she took the dude's cloak and his bracelet or whatever. And then Judah goes around and he's like, who's got this man's cloak and this bracelet? Okay, yeah, I remember this story. Okay, yeah. Okay, now this makes sense. Because this chapter 38 of Genesis is totally out of place. When you're reading it, you're reading about Joseph and the story of Joseph, how his brothers try to kill him. And then he gets sold into slavery for Egypt. And then all of a sudden it jumps to this story of Judah and Tamar. And I'm like, what is this? What is this in here for? This is like a total separate story. What is this? This takes place after Joseph's death, when the tribe of Judah settles in Canaan before the Exodus. So after Joseph dies, while the Israelites are slaves, the tribe of Judah goes and settles outside of Egypt. This is why Judah is not dead in Judges, because he was not part of the original Exodus group that left Egypt. They had already left Egypt and gone into the land of Canaan. Then they later meet up with the Israelites and they help fight the battles and they get the land. This makes sense. See? Look at this. We're doing Bible study, guys. We're figuring things out, because I thought this was a big contradiction. I was like, wait a second. Why is Judah still alive? None of you guys... Jam on board. If you're not here to add anything or to actually like take part in the discussion, why are you here? Where's Seesaw? Because we could actually... She might actually be interested in this. Anyway. Thanks for nothing, chat. We just had an epiphany. We just figured something out. We figured out why Genesis 38 is out of place. And we figured out why a seemingly contradictory thing is not actually contradictory. And it makes sense. And the reason that story is in there in Genesis is to contrast how Judah acts compared to how Joseph acts. But Judah wasn't really the bad guy in that story, right? Tamar was. She's the one running around. Okay, anyway. And the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites. And I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Simeon went with him. And Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand. And they slew of them in Bezek 10,000 men. And they found, hold on, I need to make a note here about what we just learned. In case this ever comes up. In case somebody ever says, "Hey, Josh, how come Judah's still alive in Judges? Why is Judah still alive?" Refer to Genesis 38. Judah left Egypt before the Exodus. Okay. Note made. We learned something new today. I thought it was interesting. My buddy over here is like, "Hey, I was listening." Who's your buddy? Okay. All right. And Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the we already read that. And they found Adonai-Bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him, and they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites. But Adonai-Bezek fled, and they pursued after him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and his great toes. Dang, he ain't gonna be able to balance or grab things. That would suck. You know how bad that would suck? If you don't have your big toe, it makes walking, I guess people do it, but it makes walking crazy difficult. Your big toe actually adds a whole lot to your ability to walk and balance properly. And your thumbs, this is what separates us from the monkeys. Or no, I think some monkeys have opposable thumbs. But this is what separates us from the dang dumb animals. We got opposable thumbs. We can grab things. Don't do that. Stop. Stop. Okay. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. Jess, I think you should appreciate that you have an atheist attending your Bible study. I thought you people were all about saving heathens like me. No. Nope. I believe in the elect. God chooses us. We don't choose God. And maybe someday, you'll come to God. And he knew that would happen before it happens. There's nothing I can do to bring you to God. And Adonai-Bezek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table, as I have done. So God hath requited me, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died. You might as well die if you don't have any thumbs or big toes. Now the children of Judah had fought against Jerusalem, and had taken it and smitten it with the edge of the sword, and set the city on fire. Chimps have opposable thumbs due to our shared ancestry. Bro, forget the dang chimps. Ain't no monkeys in my family tree. And afterward, the children of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites that dwelt in the mountains, and in the south, and in the valley. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba, and they slew Shishai and Ahiman and Talmai against the inhabitants of Debir. And the name of Debir before was Kirjath Sepher. And Caleb said, He that smiteth Kirjath Sepher and taketh it, to him I will give Achsah, my daughter, to wife. Ooh, what up, Achsah? And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. And he gave him Achsah, his daughter, to wife. So Othniel So Caleb's younger brother's son and his daughter. It's cousins, guys. It's cousins. Kissing cousins, it's Israel. I think that if oxa is a dime piece, you know, it makes cousin loving a little more acceptable. You know what I'm saying? It's the Old Testament, guys. What can you do? It's not his sister. And it came to pass when she came to him, that she moved him to ask of her father's field, and she lighted from off her ass. She lighted from off her ass means she got off her donkey, okay? And Caleb said unto her, What wilt thou? What wilt thou? And she said unto him, Give me a blessing, for thou hast given me a south land. Give me also springs of water, always wanting more. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the nether springs. And the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people. And Judah went with Simeon his brother, and they slew the Canaanites that inhabited Zappath, and utterly destroyed it. And the name of the city was called Hormah. Dude, why do atheists always bring up Saul and the Amalekites? Like, why do you skip so far? Why do you skip all the way into 1 Samuel? There's tons of people who get wiped out way before that. Like, why do you always just bring up that one? They always bring up 1 Samuel, bro. Did you skip all the other chapters where they wiped out like countless tribes of people? Everybody wants to talk about the Amalekites. The Amalekites were whack. Also, Judah took Gaza with the coast thereof. And Ascalon with the coast thereof, and Ekron with the coast thereof. And the Lord was with Judah, and he drave out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron. Wait. They definitely wiped out multiple tribes that had chariots of iron. And they gave Hebron unto Caleb, as Moses said, and he expelled thence the 3 sons of Anak. Hold on a second. I'm going to put a big question mark on that one. I'm going to chalk that up to the writer. Oh yeah, speaking of, I'm just going to put a question mark there. Speaking of, we got to do our little pre-new book. Judges, author. Book of Judges does not explicitly name its author, but Jewish tradition attributes it to the prophet Samuel, or it could have been Samuel's. It doesn't say this, but I'm guessing it could have also been Samuel's. Other people wrote Second Samuel. Samuel's what is the word I'm looking for? Modern scholars often view it as part of a larger Deuteronomistic history, a collection of historical books written during the Babylonian exile. Jewish and Christian scholars traditionally assign the authorship of Judges to Samuel. Many scholars believe Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, that were likely written during the Babylonian exile around 550 BC. 550 BC. That's what my next question is, when was this written? Somewhere around 550 BC. Author anonymous, potentially Samuel. The book of Judges recounts the history of Israel after Joshua's death and before the establishment of the monarchy. Is it a monarchy or a theocracy? Focusing on the period when Israel was ruled by charismatic leaders called judges who delivered them from foreign oppressors. Oh yeah, there was no authority, and the Israelites didn't have authority until they asked for a king. Wrong. Off her donkey, yes. Is this the talking donkey section? No. That's in Numbers. Right? Balaam's ass. We already went through Balaam's ass a while ago. I think it was Numbers. Yeah, it is in Numbers. And they gave Hebron unto Caleb, as Moses said, and he expelled thence the 3 sons of Anak. Anak is a giant tribe. And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwelt with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. In the house of Joseph they also went up against Bethel, and the Lord was with them. And the house of Joseph sent to descry Bethel. Bethel? Now the name of the city before was Luz. And the spies saw a man come forth out of the city, and they said unto him, Show us, we pray thee, the entrance into the city, and we will show thee mercy. And when he showed them the entrance into the city, they smote the city with the edge of the sword. But they let go the man and all his family. And the man went into the land of the Hittites and built a city, and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof unto this day. Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Bethshean and her towns, nor Taapach and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Iblaam and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, but the Canaanites would dwell in that land. What are you doing? Why are you slacking, Manasseh? Wipe them out. And it came to pass when Israel was strong that they put the Canaanites to tribute and did not utterly drive them out. That means they made them slaves. Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them. Neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Curon, nor the inhabitants of Nalal, but the Canaanites dwelt among them and became tributaries. So they didn't wipe them all out. They made some of them slaves. Neither did Asher drive out the inhabitants of Akanor, the inhabitants of Zibon, nor of Alab, nor of Akzib, nor of Helbah, nor of Aphik, nor of Rehob. But the Asherites dwelt among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land, for they did not drive them out. Neither did Naphtali. Oh, they're going through all the towns that the different tribes did not wipe out. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh, nor the inhabitants of Bethanath, but he dwelt among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land. Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh and of Bethanath became tributaries unto them. And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley. But the Amorites would dwell in Mount Heres, in Aijalon, and in Shaalbim, yet the hand of the house of Joseph prevailed, so that they became tributaries. And the coast of the Amorites was from the going up to Akrabim, from the rock and upward. Chapter 2, Israel's disobedience. Shocker, Israel disobeys again. Who would have guessed it? Buenos dias, Sisal. You weren't here. We just learned something new. I just learned something new. You want to know what I learned? So we're reading Judges. In the beginning of Judges, it talks about Judah. Talks about how Judah basically becomes like the replacement after Joshua, right? And I was like, wait, I thought all of the Israelites from the Exodus died in the wilderness. How is Judah still alive? When I looked into it, I found out that Judah left Egypt before the Exodus, and he went to live in Canaan before the Exodus happened. So he's not part of the original people that left Egypt in the Exodus that died in the wilderness over the 40 years. That's why he's still alive. And the reason we know this is because of Genesis 38. And I don't remember if you were here when I was reading through Genesis, Sal, but remember when we were reading about Joseph, there's a random chapter that seems totally out of place that talks about Judah and his wife Tamar, who goes out and whores around and sleeps with another dude and gets pregnant by him. And Judah's like, who's this baby? Remember? And, or I don't know. Does she get pregnant? I can't remember. Because it says he pulls out. And I was like, why is this chapter in here in the story of Joseph? Because this seems totally out of place. Well, it is out of place. It takes place after the Exodus, and it's used to contrast Judah's actions to Joseph's actions. The story of Tamar and Judah. She conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, who was Tamar. And Judah said unto the Onan, go to the brother's wife and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass when he went to his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Remain a widow at the father's house until Salah, my son, shall be grown, lest peradventure he dies. In the process of time, the daughter of Shudah, his wife, died, and it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goeth to Timnah. She put her widow's garments off her and covered her with a veil and wrapped herself up, and saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given him unto wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face, and he turned unto her by the way and said, go, I pray thee, let me not come to thee. Wilt thou give unto me? And she said, I will send thee a kid from the flock, blah, blah, blah. And he said with a plea, he gave her the staff, and she arose. Okay, I'm misremembering the story, but it's a weird story, and it's out of place in Genesis. I can't remember if she gets pregnant. She sleeps with... She played the harlot, right? She covered herself up and she played the harlot. And she sleeps with Judah, who is her... not her father, but her... it was his son's wife. Tamar was Judah's son's wife. And Tamar covers her face and goes out and plays the harlot. And Judah sleeps with her and gives her his staff. And then later, he's like, who's this harlot that I slept with? And he finds she has his staff. His daughter-in-law has his staff, and he's like, oh, I slept with my son's wife. The signet and the bracelet and the staff. And he gave it to her and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she rose and went away and laid her veil from her and put on the garments of widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend Abdul Lamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men in the place said there was no harlot in the place. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. It came to pass 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray these, whose are these, the signet and the bracelet and the staff? And Judah acknowledged him and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of the travail that, behold, twins were in her womb. So basically, she pretended to be a hooker. Well, she didn't pretend. She did be a hooker. And but she disguised herself. She was like, y'all gonna take care of me whether you want to or not. And goes, yeah, yeah. She went out, disguised herself, and was a hooker, slept with her father-in-law, got pregnant with twins, and then Judah's like, how'd you get pregnant with twins? Were you a hooker? And she's like, yeah, I was. And guess who the daddy is? And Judah's like, who's the daddy? And she said, whose staff is this? Whose bracelet is this? Whose signet is this, Judah? And he said, oh, dang. That's my staff. That's my bracelet. That's my signet. You're the hooker that I slept with that night? And she's like, yep. You that baby's daddy. Well, that story takes place after the Exodus. And the reason that it seems out of place is because it is out of place in Genesis. In the story of Joseph, it randomly happens. And it's like, what is this story in the middle of the story of Joseph? The reason that it's put there is to contrast how righteous Joseph was compared to how much of a screw up Judah was. Yeah, she cold. And the reason that Judah is still alive in Judges is because he left Egypt before the Exodus. And that story with Tamar takes place after the Exodus, but before the Israelites gathered and crossed the Jordan and took over all the land there. Judah was already there. He said, dang, I'm that baby's daddy. Those babies, she got twins. Why am I out of focus? You know what it is? It's the lighting. The lighting screwed me up. I think it's because that door's open. I'm like backlit. Hold on a second. There's light coming in from behind me. That should fix it. Maybe? No? There we go. Fixed it. That's a little trick. I don't know if y'all know that trick. Okay. Chapter 2. This is Israel's disobedience. Did we already start chapter 2? Where were we? And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Also, an angel of the Lord is not the, what's it called? Definitive verb, definitive noun. What is it? What is that called? The definite article. That's not a definite article. So it's not the angel of the Lord. It's an angel of the Lord. It's not a definite article. Okay? That's important. I know some people tend to ignore that. And ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of the land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this? Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you. And it came to pass when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto all the children of Israel. Now it's a definite article, the angel of the Lord, because it's this specific angel of the Lord. It says, an angel of the Lord comes, and the angel of the Lord, being this angel of the angels of the Lord, comes. That the people, unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept, and they called the name of that place Bochim, and they sacrificed there unto the Lord. And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath Heres, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers. And there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. Yeah, but they're supposed to be teaching their children constantly about these things. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Baalim. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord, and served Baal and Ashtaroth. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. No idea what a definite article is, but it's okay. Let's proceed. Definite article is the. So if it says, like if I said, the mailman, then I'm talking about, if I said the mailman came to my door, then it means that specific my specific mailman, the guy that I know, like Chris, if his name's Steve or something, the mailman, Steve is my mailman, and Steve is the mailman that I know, and I say the mailman came, I'm talking about Steve. But if I said a mailman came, then that would not be a definite article. It would just be like some random mailman. Or there could be a lot of mailmans. Okay. Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. So if it says the Lord, then it means God. If it said a God, like they worshiped a God, that's not a definite article. So you know it's not talking about the God. It's talking about a lowercase g random God. Hey, we got a super chat. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, why come I can't hit like on the I can hit heart, but I can't hit like on my super chats. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods and bowed themselves. See, there's no definite article there. Other gods. And bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. Oh, wow. So wait. So Israel didn't ask for an authority figure, but God gave them authority figures to save them from their oppressors. Look at that. Wow. And it came to pass when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers in following other gods to serve them, and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people hath transgressed my covenant. Also, God said all this would happen. So there's nothing that could have stopped it from happening. Transgress my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice. I will also not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel, whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did, keep it or not. Therefore the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua. I'm feeling judged. Oh, you gonna get judged today. Chapter 3, nations left to test Israel. Oh no, that's I think now we're gonna get to Ehud. The judge Ehud. Ehud? Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many as Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. Don't do that, Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgat the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Chushan-Rishathaim. Chushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Chushan-Rishathaim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Lord came up upon him, and he judged Israel, and he went out to war. And the Lord delivered Chushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand. And his hand prevailed against Chushan-Rishathaim. And the land had rest 40 years. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. Hold on, I need to highlight this, because this is the first judge. I mean, I guess you could consider Joshua the first judge, but technically, in the book of Judges, this is the first judge that's mentioned, is Othniel. What do you think, Seasal? Is Joshua considered a judge, or is Othniel the first judge? Or is Judah? I mean, it mentions Judah, but it doesn't call Judah a judge. I'm pretty sure Othniel is the first judge. Because Joshua actually took the place of Moses, and then Judah takes the place of Joshua. And it was more like just a leader. Trump dropped the Moab in Afghanistan. What is that? A bomb? I don't think the Bible calls him a judge. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think this Othniel guy is the first judge. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek. That's the Amalekites that everybody, all the atheists like to cry about. And went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. The city of palm trees, Joshua Tree. You ever been to Joshua Tree, California? There's palm trees everywhere. Coincidence? I think not. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjaminite. Ehud is the second judge. Second judge. The son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, the king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bare the present. But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. I think the message from God is about to be a dagger in his gut. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. Dang, that's gangster. Yo. He said, here, king, I got you a gift. And this fat king's like, oh, I got my dagger, yay. And then Ehud said, hey, I got a secret to tell you from God. Send all your men away. And he sends the men away, and Ehud grabs the dagger and stabs the fat king in the belly with it. Gangster. Many recognizable faces in this Bible stream. Some would scarcely have thought would be comfortable here. Good evening, guys, dolls, and everyone else. Oh, it's a very comfortable place. It's not your typical Bible. The mother of all bombs is Moab. Oh, okay. Okay. The evil atheists love defending the evil Amalekites, maybe because they have the same demons. I know. Well, what I was wondering, Sal, is why they always go to 1 Samuel and they always bring up the Amalekites, and they're like, why did God command them to kill every man, woman, and child and animal of the Amalekites in 1 Samuel? And it's like, bro, you skipped a whole chunk of the Bible where they wiped out tribe after tribe after tribe. They enslaved multiple tribes. Like, why are you skipping to the Amalekites? You forgetting about all the other people that they wiped out? Hundreds of thousands of people? What do you mean? Why do you care so much about the Amalekites? Like, that's like not even a big deal compared to some of the other stuff. And also I wonder why Christians won't just bite this bullet, but I was watching a debate with this dude Eleazar and Parker, and I'm not the type of guy that just because I agree with somebody's with a certain side that I'm gonna like bandwagon and be like, "Oh, you bodied him in that debate, bro. That was awesome." If you lost the debate, even if I totally disagree with the other person, I'm gonna call it out. And it was like, well, it was embarrassing for both of them. Parker and Eleazar did. It was dumb. I didn't think it was a good debate at all. But Parker brings up the Amalekites. And this is the question they'll always ask. They'll say, if God commanded you to wipe out a group of people and kill every man, woman, and child and animal, would you do it? And Christians will always dodge this question. They're like, well, God wouldn't tell me to do that. God wouldn't tell me to do that. That's question dodging. If God told you, if you knew, and then they'll say, well, that's not God, that's Satan. No, it's baked into the question. You know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that this is God. If God comes down, if the angel of the Lord comes and stands in front of you and says, I'm speaking for God, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is God speaking to you right now, and he says, I want you to go next door and wipe out that family, would you do it? Why can't any Christians just say yes? Yes, in a heartbeat, I would. Yes. What do you mean? Of course I would. Yeah, God just told me to do it. Yes. Dang. I'd be like, dude, I've been waiting for my turn for facts. That's what I'm saying. Why won't Christians say this? They're like scared to say it. They're like, it's going to make us look bad. What do you mean? What are you talking about? In a heartbeat. For real. Dude, God tells me to go wipe out. Dude, I've wanted to do that without God telling me to do it before, but I'm not allowed. I would not. I would not. My name's Jalen. I would not do that. Shut up. I know. Yeah, I know. I'm not surprised. And Ehud, so you would disobey God. You would disobey a direct order. The angel of the Lord is standing in front of you with a sword in his hand. And he said, hey, let's go. We got to take out this group of people. You wouldn't do it? You'd say, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen. Sounds like your God is mean. Sounds like you're a beta. Beta. Hold on, where's my soundboard? Beta. There you go. That's for you guys. Of course I would if God told me to do it. And it wouldn't be murder either, because the moral lawgiver is justifying it. It would be a justified killing because the moral lawgiver told me to do it. So yes, I would. Yeah. In a heartbeat. Shoot. Shoot. What do you think they call me Joshua for? Let's go. We're wiping all these tribes out. But in reality, post Jesus, that's not going to happen. God would not do that. That would not happen. Jesus came, and now we don't have to do those things anymore. So that would not happen. Of course, that would not happen. God would not do that because he's already sent his son. We've already been forgiven. We love our enemies now. All that's done with. But if it did happen, then I would have to obey God. What do you mean? It's not even a question. How would you know you're not talking to a demon instead of an angel? Try to keep up, chairman of the board. I already addressed that. I already said a lot of Christians will try to dodge this question by saying, well, how do I know it's not a demon? That seems like something Satan would do. How do I know it's not Satan? I already addressed this. It's baked into the question that you know that it's God beyond the shadow of a doubt. This is God. So the question of, well, what if it's a demon? Come on, bro. Pay attention. Try to keep up. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. And the haft also went in after the blade. Dang. And the fat closed upon the blade so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly. And the dirt came out. What? The dirt came out? What does that mean? The dirt came out. And the dirt came out. All right, Jalen. I know you're a beta, buddy. So how do you respond to the Amalekite situation, Jalen? You know, God commanded them to kill every man, woman, child, and animal. So how do you deal with that, Jalen? That's how I deal with it, straight up. It's not a problem for me. How do you deal with it? Is that what that means, Cecil? The dirt came out. Is that what that means? That is what that means, huh? What the? Dude, he stabbed him, and the knife was so sharp that the handle. Could you imagine stabbing like a really fat guy? And your hand sinks into his belly, and the knife goes all the way into the handle, and you can't even pull the knife out. Like you get your hand out, and then duty starts falling out. Judges 3:22, and the dirt came out is a euphemistic way of saying that when Ehud stabbed King Eglon, Eglon involuntarily defecated as he died. This phrase is used to describe a bodily function in a way that is less graphic and more respectful. I don't think that's what the reason they say it that way is, not to be less graphic and more respectful to King Eglon. It's just the way they talked back then. It's not like it was not a nice way of saying it. What were they gonna say? His shit came. Sorry, you got me cussing, C-Sal. But what are they gonna say in the Bible? His shit poured out. He took a dump. Like, no, the dirt came out is how they would say it. They didn't have the word poo poo. What else are they gonna say? That's Jalen's favorite. Ugh. Ugh. Dang. Dang. Stabbed him so good he dutied himself. What the? What? That's crazy. I'm going to be busy on Friday. Jalen, be busy on Friday, and I don't really care what your answer is. I don't think you have a good answer. I don't think you've been doing the education, you know? Honestly, Jalen.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education. Bro.
We will forget by Friday, or nobody cares enough to remember. So dirt could have been a bad word, but no one identified with it. Yeah, the dirt came out. I don't think that's a nice way of saying it. I think that's a pretty, like, like the Bible does not like play around with niceties. Just straight up call somebody like a whore, you know? I don't think Google said this was a nicer way of saying it. A nicer way of saying what? That he took a dump on himself? Like they Okay, where was I? Where was I? What was that? The dirt coming out. Where was that? Alone, and he had said, I have a message. Dude, that's crazy. And the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly. And the dirt came out. Oh, there's a note. Where's the note? A. Chapter 2, 9. He went into an anteroom. What the heck does that mean? He went into an anteroom, and the dirt came out. He went into an anteroom? What is an anteroom? Small room leading to a main one, typically a waiting room. Huh. Anyway. Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. When he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried till they were ashamed, and behold, he opened not the doors of his parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them, and behold, the Lord was fallen down dead on the earth, and it stunk. And Ehud, it didn't say, and it stunk. I added that. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the quarries, and escaped unto Selrath. Bro, Ehud's gangstered. I never realized that's what that meant. And it came to pass, when he was come, that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the Lord hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all justly. No, all lusty. All lusty? What does that mean? Stout. So they're all fat. All these Moabites are fat. All lusty and all men of valor. And there escaped not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. That's 80 years. And after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. Shamgar. Shamgar is the third judge. What's an ox goad? Third judge. Shamgar. What is an ox goad? Is that like an ox jaw? They're always fighting with dang animal jaws. An ox goad is a long wooden stick with a pointed end used to prod and guide oxen, typically for plowing and other agricultural tasks and destroying your enemies. It's also mentioned in the Bible famously as the weapon in which Shamgar slew 600 Philistines. Nice. Let's go. Let's go, Shamgar. Shout out Shamgar.
It's a man, baby.
Classic dad joke. Where is it? I don't know who this lowercase g you're talking about is. Did you get to the talking donkey yet? I told you the talking donkey is in Numbers. We did that like a month ago. We're not getting to the talking donkey. We already read about Balaam's ass. Where's the dad joke? Maybe he has a sandwich for lunch. Oh, because he fell down in the dirt. Ox goad, past tense for when an ox. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. No, GOAD. Okay, one more chapter, then I gotta go. Then we got a Josh goad. I got to get out of here. Pretty long chapter. Here we go. This is the death of Sisera. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord over and over and over again. They never learned their lesson when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin. Sounds like Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time. Oh, Deborah. Deborah's the woman. I thought it was Ruth. Deborah is the woman judge. Poor Deborah. Everybody always talking about Deborah. We got a woman judge. This is diversity. Deborah's the fourth judge. Yes, even women can judge. Prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time. And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel and Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, Hath not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali, and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. See, dang old Ehud's out here stabbing kings till they duty on themselves. Shamgar's out here taking a dang ox goad and killing 600 men. Deborah's basically just like leading an army of 10,000 men. Like, she's not like, what Deborah doing? What that Deborah do? I was hoping to use it in my coverage of the Shrek fallacy. I don't want to read my Bible. It causes heat blisters on my hands. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. It's in Numbers. And Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor, for the Lord shall sell Sisera unto the hand of a woman, into the hand of a woman. Oh, so she's only in charge so that God can kind of like make a joke out of Sisera. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh. And he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. So see, she's not even really doing anything. It's just God's way of making a joke out of Sisera is to, I'm assuming Sisera is a guy, a king. God's way of humiliating this person is by selling them into the hand of a woman. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet. And Deborah went up with him. So Deborah's not even in charge. Jael pushed a stake through his temple. Now Heber and Kenite, which was of the children of Hubab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zaanaim, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak, the son of Abinoam, was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor and 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his host with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles. And all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite. For there was a place between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me. Fear not. And when he had turned in unto her, the tent she turned in. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him. Oh, she's luring him in. Jael about to be a dang vixen. So why is Deborah the judge? Seems like Barak and Jael are doing more work. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say no. Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it to the ground. And he was fast asleep and weary, so he died. He did. Dang, girl. Dude, Jael's savage. Let's go. That's a woman right there. Bro, she tricked him. She's a dang trickster. Gave him more milk. And she lied to him. And it was a good thing. It was of the Lord that she lied to him and tricked him and lured him in with a false sense of safety. And as soon as he started taking a nap, she took a damn tent spike. She took a dang tent spike and hammered it into his temple, into the floor. Savage. Let's go. Dude, I love the Old Testament. It don't play. Ain't none of this soft Christianity and in the soft mess. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him and said unto him, Come, and I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples. So God subdued on that day Jabin the king of Canaan before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin the king of Canaan until they had destroyed Jabin king of Canaan. So why is Deborah the judge, though, in that story? Why is Deborah the judge? Seems like Barak and Jael put in more work than Deborah did. Like, Deborah didn't really do anything. Why does everybody always like, well, what about Deborah? What about Deborah? What did Deborah do? Deborah didn't do nothing. Deborah didn't do nothing in that story. Jael's the gangster one. Oh, dang. Trickster. DEI? A DEI judge, yeah. Dude, if I ever hear anybody say, well, what about Deborah? I'd be like, did you even read that story? Deborah doesn't do anything in that story. Oh, wait, there's more Deborah stuff. Hold on. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abin. If we go fast, we can read through chapter 5. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves. Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel. Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped. The clouds also dropped water. The mountains melted from before the Lord. even at Sinai from before the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the village ceased. They ceased in Israel, until that I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. You didn't do nothing, Deborah. They chose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Was there a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart is toward the governors of Israel. They offered themselves willingly among the people. Bless ye the Lord. Speak ye that ride on white asses, ye that sit in judgment and walk by the way. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, utter a song, arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity captive, thou son of Abinoam. Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty. Because you wrote a song? Out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek? After thee, Benjamin, among thy people, out of Machir came down governors, and out of Zebulun they that handle the pen of the writer. And the princes of Israel were with Deborah, even Issachar, and also Barak. He was sent on foot into the valley for the divisions of Reuben that were great thoughts of heart. What abodest thou among the sheepfolds to hear the bleatings of the flocks? For the division of Reuben there was great searchings of heart. Gilead abode beyond Jordan, and why did Dan remain in ships? Asher continued on his seashore and aboded in his breaches. Zebulun and Naphtali were a people that jeopardized their lives unto the death in the high places in the field. The kings came and fought. Then fought the kings of Canaan and Taanach by the waters of Megiddo. They took no gain of money. They fought from heaven. The stars in their courses fought against Sisera. The river of Kishon swept them away. That ancient river, the river of Kishon, O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength. Then there were the horse hoofs broken by the means of their prancings, the prancings of their mighty ones. Curse ye Miraz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse ye bitterly the inhabitants thereof, because they came not to help the Lord, to the help of the Lord against the mighty. Blessed above all women shall Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be among women in the tent, above women in the tent. He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought forth butter in a lordly dish. She put her hand to the nail and her right hand to the workman's hammer, and with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head when she had pierced and stricken through his temples. At her feet he bowed, he fell, he laid down. At her feet he bowed, he fell. Where he bowed, there he fell down dead. The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariot? Her wise ladies answered her, yea, she returned answer to herself. Have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey? To every man a damsel or two. To Sisera a prey of diverse colors of needlework, on both sides. Meat for the necks of them that take the spoil. So let all thine enemies perish, O Lord, but let them that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might. And the land had rest 40 years. So what you're telling me is Deborah counts as a judge because she wrote a song? Barak led the army. The 10,000 soldiers fought the war. And Jael killed Sisera. What did Deborah do? She just wrote a song? That's a DEI judge. DEI judge, Seesaw. JL is way cooler than Deborah. I don't think Deborah really did much. She wrote a pretty song. It's a nice song. Even in English, it kind of has a bit of a flow. But yeah. I don't even know if I would count Deborah as a judge. I mean, it says she's a judge. She's in Judges. But what'd she do? She didn't do anything. JL's the judge. Barack is the judge. I need to stop saying Barack. I need to say Bayrock. Because Barack sounds like that guy. Barack sounds like that guy that's married to that other guy. She gave him some warm milk, boy. Dude, she tricked him. She lured him in. She said, "Oh, lay down. Get comfortable. Here, let me tuck you in." She covered him with a mantle. She put a cover over him. She tucked him in. She put a blankie on him. He said, "I'm thirsty. Bring me some water." He said, "Yeah, I'll have some warm milk. It's nice." "Oh, are you tired? I'll watch out. I'll make sure nobody comes in and finds you." As soon as he fell asleep, got him. Deborah didn't do much. Not sure what was God's plan there. I know. Well, and remember, Deborah said Sisera is going to be delivered into the hand of a woman. Deborah thought it was her. It wasn't Deborah. It was JL. Deborah didn't do nothing except she did some slam poetry. She did some interpretive dance, and she made a nice song about it. That's about it. Barack and Big Mike. I told you guys Judges was way more exciting. The second half of Joshua was a bit of a slow chunk because they had to divide up all the land. The beginning of Joshua with the Jericho and all the wars is cool, and then they had to divide up all the land. That part's kind of slow. But Judges is just hit after hit. We haven't even got to Samson yet. We haven't even got to Gideon and Samson. Gideon's tomorrow. Samson's coming up. Samson's got a whole chunk. I think he starts in chapter 11. So we got a couple more Judges, but once we get to Samson, Samson takes pretty much all the rest of Judges is Samson's story. Which Samson has a lot of cool stories. He fights a lion, kills a whole bunch of men with a donkey's jawbone, knocks over the pillars, killing all the was it Philistines or all the people. Really cool story, really powerful story, strong, the strongest man around. But Samson was a simp. Simpson. Bro, Simpson straight up got lied to. 3 times he told his secret. He tested her twice. We're gonna save it. I've already done a whole thing on Samson, but it blows my mind. Samson probably had like a 40 IQ. He was very strong, not the sharpest crown in the box. Because how do you not figure out who's telling people? You tested her twice and she failed both times. And then you tell her the truth. What do you think's going to happen? Samson? What are you doing, buddy? Come on now. What is she giving you, warm milk? Beta. Facts. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to get to Samson. We might get to the beginning of Samson tomorrow, but it's coming up soon. I think we got we still got a couple judges before we get to Samson. Like 5 more chapters before we get to Samson. Mikael. Beta. All right, guys, I got to go. Let me see where I'm going to send you. Send you off to. Where am I going to send you off to? Where am I going to send you now? Where am I going to send you off to? Where am I going to send you now? Let's go watch Joel. Number one reason people divorce and break up. Bro, you just got married, Joel. Why are you talking about divorce? Don't even speak that into existence. Go say hi to Joel. Even though nobody over there ever acknowledges raids. Whack. And I know they'd be looking at chat because they respond to other chats. Never acknowledge a raid. Sad. Word to your mother. All right, guys. God bless. I got to go. I'm tired. I need to take a shower and get to bed. I'll see you back here tomorrow. More judges. More judges before we get to Samson. Samson. All right. Deuces. Put some chairs in Joel's chat. Let's go.